All right, thank you for staying with us. Right now, we will be looking at reports that came up in the papers yesterday and today about COVID-19 outbreak in some NYSC camps. Some are reporting that 109 Corp members tested positive to COVID-19, while in the papers today we saw 20. But then we will be speaking with Eddy Megwa, the Deputy Director, Press and Public Relations, NYSC, and State Coordinator, NYSC, to clear the air on this development because there are a lot of concerns from parents with regards to this developing story. Eddy Megwa, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate for giving us the opportunity to respond to the questions you may have.
All right. There are reports making the rounds that about 109 Corp members have tested positive to COVID-19. Talk to us what the true situation is. Give us a clear picture of it.
Oh, well, let me start first by joining my Director General to commiserate with the families of our prospective Corp members that lost their lives while going to report for the National Youth Service Corps. Haven't collected their call-up letters. It's quite unfortunate. The NYSC family feel highly embittered. We feel so bad, and we commiserate with the families and the entire nation for the loss of these young, patriotic Nigerians that were on their way to answer the clarion call in the service to the fatherland. Well, being that as it may, back to your question, it is rather unfortunate that most of the media is fully misrepresenting NYSC. If you go to every NYSC orientation camp nationwide, we are conducting COVID-19 tests at the gate of every orientation camp. And as Corp members are coming in, or prospective Corp members are coming in, they are not yet Corp members. They are tested at the gate. If you're negative, you will have a way inside the camp. If you're positive, the NCDC that is permanently residing with us in all the orientation camps will take you to isolation center. And the picture is very clear. There is no prospective Corp member that tests positive that will be allowed to get into any orientation camp. So all the publications you're seeing probably are those that tested positive when they arrive at the gate of the orientation camp. And immediately the NCDC that is working permanently with us will take them to isolation center. They don't have access to NYSC orientation camp. And we need to get this thing very clear. Corp members are those that have been registered inside the orientation camp and sworn in by the chief judge of the various states of the Federation. Now, when they are arriving at the gate, they are still prospective Corp members. And so people are mixing these two words as if it is one. They are not. Until a Corp member is fully registered at the orientation camp and sworn in, nobody addresses him or her as a Corp member. So what you are seeing is what happened with prospective Corp members that arrived from their various states or homes to the various orientation camp gate, where this RDT test is being taken, and when they are positive, they go back. Negative, you have your access into the
Sir, don't you think this is a lot?
We are being
Don't you think this is very harsh, considering that some Corp members have to travel unbearable distances to camp? You imagine the Katsina accident case in study now. Imagine that they didn't die. The distance that cost their lives could have been stressful enough to travel on, and then they get to camp only for them to be tested and returned. Or what will happen to them at that point?
And then because you say you send them back, that means they will be spreading disease all on the journey.
He said they are taken to isolation centers.
Oh, because I thought you said you send them back.
Send them back.
No, isolation centers.
So couldn't they be made? Couldn't they be made while they're in isolation, recognized as core members? The period they spend while being isolated, calculated as part of camp for them. That's why I was good.
Sure. You know, NYSC, because of the spread of this virus, they cannot keep them in orientation camp. But having called them up for national service, it starts counting. It starts counting because they have been called up for national service. But because of their ill health, nobody allows them into the orientation camp. Very clean and very pure.
My question was that I see that there's a lot of good work being done to prevent the spread of COVID within the camp in that 3 weeks period. What my question is after the camp and they've been deployed to wherever they're serving, is the NYSC Corps no longer responsible for the Corps members if they now become COVID, if they now get the virus, or what else happens, if they test positive, what happens to them after they've left the camp? And who's responsible for them? Because some of them have been, like the case of Imo to Katsina, Katsina, they've gone they're somewhere else and they're not familiar with the area. Who takes care of them while they are there? Is there any budget for healthcare while they are serving in other regions?
Yeah. NYSC, we follow up our core members right from the point we push them out from the orientation camp. We have inspectors in all the local government areas in all the states of the Federation. And inspectors are there to follow them up to their places of primary assignment. And they have all the contacts of the core members, and the core members have the contacts of all the local government inspectors. Now, should there be any problem with any of our core members, our inspectors will go on immediately and arrest the situation. The one that will need the immediate referral, we are working hand in hand with NCDC. We'll call on them, and immediately they take care of them. Now, wherever we need to spend money, no matter how much, to ensure we save the life of any core member, NYSC is openly and disposed to it. You see the Director General, you saw him at Akwa Ibom, because of how he felt over what happened. There is no amount of money we spend the youth of this nation that will be considered to be too much. And that's what NYSC is doing. We don't allow them to just hang around anyhow. And that is why orientation camp is very primary. This is where we teach them how to conduct themselves when they leave the orientation camp. If you come around to NYSC orientation camp in Lagos, you will see all the things we have put in place to make sure we sensitize them and make them to acquire the habit of sustaining the COVID-19 protocols, even when they leave the orientation camp. So we are all over making sure that we will be able to take care of the situation.
So you say you are following them and they have your numbers. Now, are you giving them tests because now they are being exposed? This is after they leave the camp I'm talking about now. Maybe they go to different jobs, teaching jobs. Yes. They are exposed now. Are you going to be testing them regularly, like once a month, to make sure they don't come down with the,
when they come for the
virus? The virus.
Clearance, monthly clearance.
No. What will happen is, in orientation camp, we have tested them. And when they go to the larger society, we urge them to obey the COVID-19 protocols. Look, if you obey these protocols, you are more likely to run into problems.
Okay.
Eddy Megwa. Right. I guess network challenge there.
Rain is catching network.
Rain is catching network. All right. But I guess we have some reaction on the tubes with regards to
yes, we have plenty tubes. Let me read some. Hey, let me go. Hey, where do I start from?
Anywhere. Okay, I hear he is back. Eddy Megwa, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, continue with your conversation, yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that in orientation camp, we sensitize them and make them to be conscious of the prevalence of this COVID-19. Now, when we leave orientation camp, they follow up with the same attitude. Now, don't forget, NYSC is not operating in different society. NYSC operates in the same Nigerian society. So whatever that is in place to make sure that this disease does not spread up to the core members will also be observed. But should there be any reason why any core member will have to go through the test, of course NYSC will do that. And if there is any financial commitment that is involved, NYSC will equally pay it accordingly.
Right. As much as we laud the effort being made by the NYSC, how about ensuring their safety to their various destinations in terms of, we see what just happened, the 5 core members, prospective core members who lost their lives. Is the body working with perhaps the aviation sector to see if they can put together a subsidized package for prospective core members so that they can arrive safely to their various destinations when it comes to coming to the camps? Eddy Megwa, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think, yeah, okay, I can hear you. It went off, and I can hear you now. It's off again. Can
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So, no, I was asking that is the body working to ensure that there is a customized package, working with aviation sector to ensure a customized package for prospective core members so that to ensure their safety, since this is one of the objectives of the body, such that these people arrive their various destinations safely and we don't continue having incidents of death like we recorded recently.
Yeah, like I said earlier on, we feel very sad that what happened. But I'm sure right now, as you speak, the directorate is working out how they will synergize with so many airlines and see how they can give NYSC rebates to ensure that core members that are going to answer the clearance call will see such rebate opportunities to access their orientation camp venues. But beyond that, the NYSC Director General, before the commencement of the orientation camp, had a webinar, and all the core members were enjoined. Please don't travel at night. It's dangerous. Wherever you get to, once it's 6 p.m., please pass the night. The next day you continue. You know, we can only do what we can do as human beings. But NYSC cannot start carrying core members by hand, moving from one point to the other, because NYSC is still existing in the same society. You know? But they are working out at the directorate headquarters ways how NYSC can synergize with airlines so that during the period of answering the clearance call, they will be able to give them rebate so that most of them that can afford it should be able to hop in and travel safely. And we also say nobody should travel at night so that we'll be able to run away from all this problem of road traffic accidents. We also have synergy with the National Union of Road Transport Workers. We tell them, please, when core members are involved, don't carry overload. Don't carry them and travel in the night. Now, if all this synergy cooperates with NYSC, I'm very sure most of these things will be reduced to BRS minimum.
If traffic catches them on the road and then they now enters to the night, because it's a long distance from where they were going, Uyo to Katsina.
Once you get to a place that is safe, stop there and sleep. You don't need to continue in the night. It's not safe, especially our roads are bad. You don't need to keep traveling in the night. It's very, very horrendous. You don't do that. And we tell them all the time.
All right.
It's wrong for them to travel in the night.
All right.
The bus that you have paid for.
We just have to
Exactly.
leave the conversation here now. Eddy Megwa, Deputy Director, Press and Public Relations, NYSC, and State Coordinator, NYSC, thank you for your time. Well, it's a lot, YK, because some persons do not prepare for staying over somewhere else because they have limited funds. What do they
Exactly.
do?
You've paid for a bus to take you to Katsina.
Yes.
And then
supposed to
7
be like-
o'clock, 8
yeah.
o'clock, you are still on the road. Maybe you are in Benue. You have not reached anywhere. You say,
I should spend the night.
the bus driver is not going to refund your money now.
He would not.
Except
So
you
what do
plan
they do?
to do a two-way
Anyway,
trip.
you said you had tips.
Plenty.
So on Facebook, John Jibogu is disagreeing with the NYSC coordinator. He said, if a graduate or prospective core member is given a call-up letter, regardless of being sworn in or not, such a person is a core member.
Okay.
Good. These are from the last topic. Good way. Healthcare is not only about hospitals; it's about building small hubs in rural areas. Olamide Adala says, he's talking about China. I think she was talking about China. And Biliki says, I watched a BBC lifestyle documentary last night. It was disturbing listening to the statistics. I shed tears listening to a lady who lost her 6-month-old baby due to medical lapses. Del Amazon, it's not mental illness. If it's not mental illness going on seriously, should they allow people go for the nonsense youth service when we are not blind to what's going on in the world? Most leaders need, oh my gosh, goodness, mental evaluation.
Imam Yahya says, on NYSC, this is another reflection of our ruling class elites' apathy to people's well-being. They are not sensitive to people's needs and non-responsive to the grassroots clarion call for good governance.
All right, we need to quickly go on a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at a very interesting topic, a topic that would interest parents. I mean, everyone, not just parents. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.